G'day, I'm Andrew the Executive Director of OWASP, and a previous leader of the OWASP Top 10 in the Application Security Verification Standard. Today, I'm honoured to present an interview I recorded late last year with Aranguren, the Managing Director of 7ASecurity, who has supported OWASP and our conferences for a very long time, and is indeed they're a platinum corporate supporter. In this interview, we'll go over how 7ASecurity has contributed to OWASP and some of the resources they make freely available to the community. With that, let's get to the interview.
This is like the main website, right? 7asecurity.com, and what we do the most is penetration test and code audits. We are ISO and SOC 2 certified and an OWASP Platinum supporter, so we audit like websites, mobile applications, we do code audits, then we also do like AI testing. This is coming up a lot more nowadays. In a lot of applications they have AI functionality, and you can sometimes fool the AI to show you data that it shouldn't you shouldn't see and things like that. We also do cloud audits, so when things are deployed in Azure, Google Cloud, and so on. And then over the years, we've been privileged to work with the Linux Foundation, the Mozilla Foundation, right? So we tested the Linux Foundation LFX platform. We've recently audited the Tor project and Thunderbird Send. Like these two audits are just like recently being published. And we've also worked for the Guardian newspaper in the UK. And for example, we've also like recently audited the Python request URL lib3 and cache control libraries. This report is not public yet, but the advisory for one of them is. So this is one of the issues that we found, right? So it has like a very high severity. So we've been working for a lot of years to try to secure open source software that a lot of people use. You can see that this was found by 7ASecurity here in this advisory, and we will be linking to the advisory from the report. Yeah, and then for example, if I open the Tor project audit that we did in August and was just released, you can see like we found like some significant issues. We've also worked with the Mozilla Foundation a few times, so this is the recent audit for Thunderbird Send. Anybody can go here, 7asecurity.com publications, you click, you don't have to register anything, you see the public Pentests report. And of course, all these reports are published with permission from the maintainer, and only after things have been fixed, of course. So for Thunderbird Send, the attack surface was really small, but we still managed to find like a couple of significant issues. And here we did like a cloud audit as well as other things, right? So during our assignments, you know, we will use like some level of automation, but it's ultimately, you know, the human that will be, you know, like our audits are not, like you can see it here, right? There's no output, like this all like a completely manual, like Pentest report. There's no, you know, output of a tool, or whatever, right? This is all like tailored to the, and this is like what you want to do when you report something to a client, right? So with OWTF, it's kind of a similar idea. Like you are not dumping the output of Nessus or OWASP or any automated tool to the customer. You are actually verifying the findings and then giving the findings to the client, right? And this is what makes the Pentest report valuable, because now the developers have like real findings with, you know, steps to replicate the problem, right? Like you have like some curl request or something. And then at the end, like you have like some guidance, you know, with referencing the OWASP cheat sheets, for example, right? For additional mitigation guidance, right? And this is how, in this case, we had access to the source code, right? So this is how we recommend like you fix this, but, you know, but in the OWASP cheat sheets, you have like more information and so on. So this is a little bit of what we do. Another important thing, right, is not to leave like developers with just a Pentest report, right? Like some security firms, they kind of leave you in the dark. They don't tell you anything during the test. And then at the end of the test, they give you a report and they say bye, right? So we work in a completely different way, where we will set up a communication channel before the test even begins. And then this communication channel will be used throughout the assignment, right? So before the test, we check that, you know, like we have everything in place and we can log in and everything kind of works and it's ready to begin the test. So this is done like before the test even starts. Then during the test, we will provide the customer with updates so they can start fixing sooner. They can give us feedback because sometimes we test from a technical perspective, but the customer knows their business better than we do, right? So this leads to some critical feedback that comes during the test that you would normally not have if you only test from a technical perspective, right? So sometimes, for example, we found, hey, we can find your list of customers. We report this as a low severity because it's just the names. But then this client had a contractual obligation where they are not supposed to reveal their customer names. So they were in breach of contract, right? So for them, it was like a high severity vulnerability, right? And that's things like that, right? And then another very important thing to do at the end is the fix verification, right? Because sometimes developers will fix like the original attack, so it no longer works, but the fix is like not good enough. So we do fix verification for free, right? And we also have like a quality guarantee, which we define our quality standards as public work to date, so all the public reports. So we will keep working on the test at no extra charge if those standards are not met.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Andrew.